Well, good evening, gang, and welcome to It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host. And to my right and to your left, of course, is the lovely Julia Perciasepe. Hello, Julia. How are you?
Hello. Good.
How's everything?
Good.
How was your weekend?
It was good. Warm and sunny
and beautiful. About
nice.
Time.
Yes.
Yes. I want to remind everybody that we are coming to you live from our beautiful studios here at BNN TV, and you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. We're at 617-708-3290. Great staff of Dave and the gang in the other room are answering phones, so if you feel like giving us a call and let us know what's going on artfully in your neck of the woods, feel free to give us a call. Please do. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on with you?
Oh, not much. Yesterday, I went to a art opening on Newbury Street, 29 Newbury Street. It was a Canvas Fine Arts event. I got to do a little interviewing, and I got to, you know, I did the speak-in part, the roll-in part. It's a fabulous restaurant right on Newbury Street. I paid $50 to park.
What?
Don't tell Janice.
Could have gotten a whole meal for that.
Oh no, I couldn't have.
Yeah.
But no, it's a beautiful restaurant, 29 Newbury Street. I did have a great lunch there, and the featured artist down there this month is our own Janice Williams.
Oh wow!
And the name of the show is Color.
So cool.
Yes, it's Color, and there was a
big
big turnout. Got dragged in there for that.
Yeah.
But the name of the show is Color, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of old friends came, and some new friends came, so it was nice to see people. So if you're on Newbury Street, all you have to do is just bop in. You know, all the walls are covered with Janice's work.
Is that a new restaurant?
I think it's been there for a while. Huh. It's literally at 29 Newbury Street. Oh, okay. So it's down near the Taj, down where the old Ritz used to be. So it's down in that area. The fancy part. The fancy end of Newbury Street. Not that Newbury Street from end to end is not fancy. It is very fancy. But it was nice to have that for her yesterday. It was a lot of fun. I'll get past the $50 parking charge, but I'll survive that, I think. I parked at Louis. You know where Louis is?
Yep.
And I just pulled over there, and I saw parking, so I said, okay, sure. Afterwards, I was looking for my new pair of pants, but they never came with the parking.
So you got a ticket, is what you're saying?
No.
Oh.
I got
you parked in a garage.
No, I pulled up. There was a sign that said parking. I pulled up. Guy got out, nice little hat and everything. Oh, yes, take ticket.
Oh, valet. Okay.
Off he went. And I went, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's why it cost me so much. That was stupid.
Parking around there is a real skill.
Yeah, apparently it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go over towards Columbus, I don't know why we're discussing this right now, but if you go over towards Columbus in the Park Plaza Hotel, there's a ton of parking.
Okay, I'll remember that next time when it's time to pick up the paintings.
Yeah.
That I'll remember. How about you? What have you been doing? Anything cool and exciting?
Well, my director of DER is getting ready to go to Canada for a festival called Hot Docs. Which is like the premier documentary film festival in Canada. And so we've been kind of preparing by taking a look at some of the films that are going to be there and reviewing them and seeing who we want her to talk to and kind of get in. So I spent a lot of today looking at films, which was always fun.
That's your gig, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, did you see anything you liked, or can you talk about? I mean,
yeah. I mean, a lot of the films that I was looking at are still in the kind of rough cut stage, so they're not necessarily being publicized. But there was a really interesting one about street vendors in Istanbul and how they're being kind of phased out. You know, they have the milkman that goes around, yells, "Milk, I'm coming for milk."
Yeah.
People throw down the buckets and they put the milk in and they hoist it up. But for some reason, people are starting to hate it. They're like banning it. So it's kind of a dying
Is he pouring the milk in the bucket, or is he putting?
No. He's putting a little jar in it. But anyway, it was really interesting. I mean, it was like they described it as kind of an essential part of Istanbul, the city, this kind of infrastructure that's disappearing. So.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was cool.
I mentioned your company to my people where I teach, and they've talked about, well, maybe we should be bringing some of this stuff in for our middle school kids to, just so they'll be able to experience some parts of the world and stuff that
I know. I wanted to develop a program that was kind of like an explorers club for kids, because mostly our target audience are university students and public libraries, but we have quite a few films that are good for younger kids. And so Explorers Club, they would kind of travel the world through film and experience different cultures, and I thought that was really cool.
It is very cool.
So if they're interested in that, I can put something together for
Would
them.
you? Well, you know something? I'm going to put you in touch with our
Yeah.
vice principal, because
Do it.
the other ones, she comes through me a little bit, but you know, it'd be great to have those kind of things at our
We
availability.
can talk about it.
That's cool. You know what else happened this weekend was that everybody knows, who's watched our program knows that this show is brought to you through the kindness and the support of the Great Boston Main Streets program. Well, His Honor, the new mayor of the city of Boston, Marty Walsh, was in Rosendale on Saturday.
Nice.
And he was at the Sophia's Grotto's outdoor patio and stuff. We had about 100 and something people there, packed in there, and he had an announcement to make. And we were very, very, I'm speaking for the entire Main Streets organization when I say thank you to Mayor Walsh, because what he's done is he's increased the budget for Main Streets some $400,000.
Wow.
It's a huge budget increase for the people that are running these individual programs around the city.
That's great.
Trying to revitalize business districts. Yeah, and that averages out to about 30% increase to each Main Street.
Wow.
And there are Main Streets out there that are working by thread, you know, trying to make sure there's staffing and stuff. Because as we've talked about before, Main Streets is an organization that revitalizes business districts around the city, you know. So they have, and it's completely volunteer driven. But they just can't do it without any capital, because there is that executive director to pay, and there's some specialists that they need and what have you to get the work done.
Yep.
So I'd like to say publicly thank you to the mayor, because I think that that's a great. It's a program that was started by His Honor Tom Menino, and now it's being kind of pushed into another stratosphere by the present and new mayor Walsh.
You can see how successful it is. I mean, in JP, it's all art stuff too. I mean, they are just pop-up galleries and pop-up craft stores.
Yeah.
So cool.
And the thing that's really cool about them is it's not a Pearl Art. Not that there's anything wrong with Pearl Art, but Pearl Art is this huge conglomeration. But it's actually they're closed in Cambridge. I don't know how well they're doing actually, but they're all mom and pop places. You know, they're like startups and people that are beginning mom and pop businesses and stuff. And it's a great way to revitalize your neighborhood, get some enthusiasm and some life into a business district that's been suffering. So we want to thank Main Streets for their support here. They do some great things. I'm real happy. Got any openings coming?
No openings yet. It's kind
Is
of
there a
quiet
season for us?
Yeah, we kind of correspond with the school year a little bit. So the beginning of the school year is really kind of our craziest time, and then around Christmas and a little after Christmas is also pretty crazy. And then, you know, people are like so hunkered down right now, students and professors and teachers. So it's like, you know, radio silence. But then, you know, come late May, people might want to do some screenings or something, but then the summer's dead. So it's really like, woo, a roller coaster.
Is it because people aren't working on films during that time, or is it because you guys need a break?
Well, people are always working on films, no matter, you know, filmmaking does not correspond with the school year. No, it doesn't. Yeah, so.
But your audience kind of changes.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, well, that's pretty exciting. I want to shout out to my friends at Boys and Girls Club over in Orchard Gardens. Thank you. They let me go a little bit early every Monday so I can get here.
Nice.
So I have to say thank you to Tunji and Miss D and the gang over there and the kids, of course. Because whenever I'm leaving, it's like, Glenn, where you going? I said, well, you know, it's Monday. Oh, I'll see you tomorrow. So I want to thank them very much. Anything else? You know, we've got a great show tonight.
We do.
Is there a Julia's World tonight?
There is. It's not a normal Julia's World, but...
Bells and whistles? Excitement?
I'm going to be talking about some advocacy things, so
that's
important.
Excellent. That's very good.
So no events, no concerts, no, you know.
Okay. Did you go to the concert, the last one you were talking about?
Which one?
The one that, not the one at the Paradise, but the one where you got from your Was it parents that knew
Oh,
about?
the Pentatonics?
Yes,
no.
the Pentatonics.
The tickets were so expensive.
Yeah.
I did not.
Oh.
No.
That would have been a lot of fun.
It would have been. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being here. Listen, I do have to talk about this amazing building that we're in, BNN TV. BNN TV is the cable access venue here in the city of Boston for you. It is an opportunity and a place where you can come and do your television programming. Also, it's someplace, Channel 9, which you're watching right now, is news and information. And here at Channel 9, Dave and the great staff here do work with nonprofits, where you get a chance to come in and talk about your mission statement, get your ideas and your thoughts out to people in the community in a very vast way. Also streaming across the United States and the world, because if you go to www.bnntv.org and press what's playing right now, lo and behold, Julia and I will pop right up. So we're being seen all over the place. So this is kind of like the place you'd want to come and talk about your nonprofit. Bring in a guest or two and talk a little bit about what's going on inside your organization. The other side of BNN is the side where they have you sign up and join as a member and take some Final Cut Pro classes, take some classes in these beautiful state-of-the-art cameras and sound and lighting and how to run a show. And you actually sign out the beautiful equipment, go out and shoot the Little League game, bring it back to the Timothy Smith lab downstairs and edit it, and they put it on TV for you. So this is the place to do that. If you go to www.bnntv.org, click on Janice Williams. There's that Janice Williams again. Yeah. Click on Janice Williams' name. You will be able to get all the information you need to do just that. Mm-hmm. So we want to thank them also. 16 years we've been doing this, and it's been a great 16. Relationship. And,
that's crazy.
And it is crazy. You wonder. But we want to thank them for all the work that they do. It's a great organization. 30 years they're coming up on. 30-year anniversary, and there's going to be a huge blastering party out in the street next door this summer sometime. We'll keep you abreast of all that. Block party, literally a block party.
Gosh, I haven't been to one of those in so long.
Oh, we'll probably have something to do. So that'll be a lot of fun. So listen, we have a great show.
We do.
What we're going to do is we're going to take a break. We're going to do Julia's World and get you all set up. Listen, gang, you are watching. Oh. Sorry, but the show is going to be on tomorrow night. It'll be up on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, and it's all about arts. The #1 is the address on YouTube. You'll be able to see this show and many, many past shows that we've done. In fact, some shows from back in the '90s are up on there. They're kind of funny to watch and kind of cool. But all of Julia's shows are up there, so it's a good place to go and check out what she's been doing. So you can do that, and you can also tweet us. You can tweet us at It's All About Arts is how you can send us a tweet. Let us know what's going on.
Please send us tweets.
We're sitting right here answering the many tweets that are coming on and determining which ones are appropriate to talk about or not.
Yes.
But we want to thank you for being with us right now. Listen, we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes with Julia's World. Listen, gang, you're watching BNN TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams. This is Julia Perciasepe. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Don't go away.
There comes a time when everybody needs to be with someone. Well, now's the time when I have realized you're that someone. How could I have been so blind when you have been there all this time? I need you, I want you. Can I have you by my side? I take a real close look at all the things that you've done for me. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Now how could I have been so blind when you have been there all this time? I need you, I want you. Can I have you by my side? 'Cause I love you and I want you. You gotta let me have you by my side, by my side, by my side. Ooh, baby, need you by my side, by my side.
Welcome back, everybody. You are watching BNN TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams. I'm your host. We'd also like to remind everybody that we are coming to you live from our beautiful Studio B here at BNN TV in Eggleston Square. And you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. We're at 617-708-3290. Dave and the great staff of BNN are answering the phones in the other room. And also another quick reminder that we are coming to you live on, we stream live on www.bnntv.org. So we have lots of people. I'd like to shout out to our friends in Portland and New York, and in Albany, New York, and all kinds of different places. We want to say thank you for being faithful and people who turn into our program. We really do appreciate everything you do. And please, if you'd like to contribute to Julia's World or anything that we do here, please make sure you give us a tweet at It's All About Arts. We'll get right to Julia and myself. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce you to Julia's World.
Hey guys, welcome to Julia's World. Unfortunately, I don't have any events for you today, but what I do want to talk to you about is arts advocacy, which is something that is close to all of our hearts here at It's All About the Arts, obviously. And arts advocacy is really important because sometimes, especially in education, the arts don't get as much funding as, say, the sciences or math. And so the first organization I want to talk about is Mass Creative. Their mission is empowers creative organizations and the public with a powerful voice that brings the attention and resources necessary to build vibrant, creative communities. That is awesome. Anyway, so the budget released on Wednesday, April 9th by the Massachusetts House Ways and Means Committee recommends cutting Commonwealth's investment in the arts and cultural community by 50%. Which is pretty massive. So something that we can all do is write a letter or an email to our local representative urging them to join and co-sponsor Representative Corey Atkins' amendment to fund the arts more. So you can find more information on the Mass Creative website, which I believe is masscreative.org. Very simple. And then kind of in tandem with that is the Massachusetts Cultural Council. It's a great state agency and something that my organization, Documentary Educational Resources, takes part in is the Cultural Data Project, which is this really cool initiative. It's taking place across the United States. And it's for all you cultural nonprofits out there. It's a way to not only gather information about us all so that we can present how important the arts are to to the government and to various groups in order to get the funding that we need. But it's also a great thing for the organization for self-assessment. You can apply for grants straight through the Cultural Data Project. And it's a really nice network just to be in. And so you can go onto the Mass Cultural Council website and just click right on the Cultural Data Project and check it out. and I highly recommend it. We do it, and it's very useful. Anyway, that's all I have today. Back to you, Glenn.
Thank you, Julia. That's very, very important. Thank you for bringing that up for us and bringing it to our attention. It's, you know, the Mass, especially Mass Cultural Council, they are amazing. They have helped Rosendale Open Studios through many, many years of support and what have you. They're great, great organization. Thank you for bringing that up, Julia. We really do appreciate it. And right now, it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce you to Ashley Rose. Hello, Ashley. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Welcome to the studio. Thank you for being here with us. It's great to have you.
I'm excited.
You are, well, let's start off with, you're a poet. You're many things, but you're a poet to begin with. How long have you been doing poetry?
I've been doing poetry, I mean, if my teachers had to tell me since I was in 8th grade, but officially probably for the last 8 years.
Okay. Is it a performance type poetry that you do? Do you go and perform in different venues?
I do both. I'm also an author, so I do perform at different venues, and I also write books.
You're right.
So,
You're
yes.
right. Well, how's the writing part going? You're right. Are they books of poetry?
Yes. I like to call them pages of my life, but I wrote my first book, Random Thoughts of a Capricorn, in 2010, and right now I'm working on final edits for my new book, Zip Your Own Dress.
Oh, congratulations. That's very exciting. Who's publishing?
I publish through Books of Hope. It's a nonprofit writing organization that I actually teach at. So.
Oh, you're a teacher as well. Do you teach poetry?
I do. I teach art and activism.
Oh, great. What's the age group of people that you work
Well, I've taught ages K to 21, but,
Okay.
but for the most part, I do work with the ages of 12 to 21 years old.
Okay. Well, let's get back to the poetry just for a couple of minutes. When you're sitting to write a poem, is it something that has to be drawn from a personal experience of yours?
No, I've learned to go back and forth using writing prompts sometimes. I do use the moment, but I've kind of gotten myself into a rhythm where I write at the same time every day. And
oh, that's cool. That's interesting. Do you have a set space where you go and write, or can you kind of curl up any place and wherever you're comfortable?
Yeah, actually, I do have a set space in my house, but ironically, I like to write on the train. I like to write while I'm moving. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, you get so much motivation when you're looking at people. I mean, MBTA is just really interesting anyway.
It's a great place.
Yeah, can have some laughs, see some serious things.
Yeah. That being said, I believe that we have a video of a piece of yours called, it's about the train, about one side of the track. What's it called? What is it?
It's called The Other Side of Ruggles.
The Other Side of Ruggles. Tell me a little bit about the inspiration for this piece that we're going to see.
Yeah, I wrote that piece, oh my gosh, it was probably 8 years ago. I was working at DSNI as a gotcha supervisor, but I was attending Northeastern University, and I like to ride on my bike.
You're a Husky, okay.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
cool.
definitely.
Some of these cats are Huskies.
Go Huskies. Okay. But I would often ride my bike from Hemingway Street over down to Dudley Street, and it was just really, you know, it was just a change in scenery. Once I got through the tunnel all the time, I was just like, wow, all my resources kind of depleted. I couldn't find a Dunkin' Donuts as easily. And it was just
Where am I?
Yeah, well, I'm from the other side of Ruggles. I'm from that side.
Are you originally a Bostonian?
Absolutely. I grew up in Rosendale, ironically.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. I grew up on Delford Street.
No kidding. I'm on Belgrade Ave. My whole life we've been there.
Absolutely. Right, was it Fallon Field?
Fallon Field.
Yeah, I used to play BNBL up there.
Well, this is old home. This is great. I didn't realize that. Yeah, they have a great league up there, don't they?
Oh, definitely.
BNBL league. So we're going to see a piece. A couple of minutes long will give us an opportunity to see a little bit of what kind of work that you do. And why don't we roll that, David? Get a look at that, and we'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away. You're going to enjoy this.
On that other side of Ruggles, Boston's not the same. It's two different worlds separated by that orange line train. One side is plagued by poverty and crack fiends. The other, your mirror image of the American dream. See, the street lights don't shine as bright on this other side of Ruggles. I think it's because the people living here, they're black and of a darker color. Skin tones are composed of mahogany and coffee bean, while on that other side of Ruggles, their skin pigment is ivory. So see, I did the math and determined that it must be melanin and money that divides this teapot city. It's what separates Harvard Square from those hoods in Dudley. It's the reason why the poor communities left with no economic growth, and while on the other side of Ruggles, they're torn coppling on duck boats. And it's the reason why the wealthy have universities and Starbucks on every block, while on the other side of Ruggles, your main attraction is the cops. Which then makes me ponder why the crime rate's so high. Could it be the city systematically about the poor people's demise? Cause These politicians are claiming there's no money to employ these kids, but y'all steady taking bribes and you pay for the corrupted big dig. Killed a woman as she went under a bridge. I watched y'all pay for that instead of our students' knowledge. And till this day, these schools, they still remain segregated. It's like y'all never heard of Brown versus the Board of Education. I watched you utilize the MCAS to keep poor kids from graduating. And then you tried to hand them a certificate of attendance and say, I'm sorry, but thank you for participating. So now these students are left with no job and the education gone wrong. While on that other side of Ruggles, y'all, they suffer no harm. They over there enjoying the luxury of Johnny Cupcake and Newberry Street while my kids continue to die slow on Boston's mean streets. See, the city's institutional racism, it has to stop. It's converted us all, blacks, whites, Asians, and Latinos into crabs in a barrel. We're trying to reach the top, and we're busy slanging each other drugs while increasing their wealth. We rather pull each other down in this sad attempt to save ourselves. But trust me, y'all, on that other side of Ruggles, Boston's not the same. It's literally two different worlds separated by that orange line train, and one side is plagued by poverty and crack fiends. Consider Boston to be your sheer illusion of the American dream.
Wow, that's pretty powerful stuff. It's it really portrays a real picture of inner city life, and when you wrote that, were you a student at Northeastern?
Yes, I was.
Was it being drawn from your personal experiences?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Being from Rosendale, you have to take the orange line. I went to school in Roxbury my whole life.
Yeah.
I went to John D. O'Brien. I kind of just crossed the street and went to Northeastern. But when you get to Ruggles, you know, usually I would take like the 15. You kind of take the right out the station. But when I got a scholarship to Northeastern, I came down and left. And I'm like, I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah, it's right here.
Right,
Yeah.
and all the resources were being used for people who really weren't from Boston. You know, these were all students, and they were international students. They were just people who weren't from here, and they had the opportunity to have the best resources while we were kind of over there struggling. It was just feet away.
Right. That's amazing. It portrays it. I don't think that's just Boston, though.
Oh, no, there's other side of Ruggles everywhere.
I think
It's
there's
everywhere.
Ruggles all over the country, and especially in our bigger cities. It's very, very powerful. Where can people go to hear some more of your work?
You can definitely go on YouTube. I actually prefer not to even rewatch my own videos. That's probably my first time actually watching that.
Yeah, what was that like?
It was interesting. It shows your growth as an artist sometimes, but it also, you know, it's good to reflect sometimes and just smile at it.
That's good.
But you can definitely find my work on YouTube, definitely Facebook. I like to perform live.
You have a Facebook page, Ashley
Yeah,
Rose?
yes, it's Ashley Rose. I'm pretty sure you can.
So
find
people,
me.
we can find you, I'm sure.
Yes.
There's another thing that you're doing that I want to touch base with really quickly, if we can. And I think that it's very, very exciting. And you're kind of doing some of that work through here, I think, is the PB Boston. Tell me a little bit about what that is.
I work as a youth organizer for something called the Participatory Budgeting Project. This originated in Brazil. It came to the U.S. It's in Chicago, New York, and finally it hit Boston. But Boston's a little unique. It's a youth power movement here.
Yeah.
And basically what happened is the mayor allocated $1 million for the youth to be able to do different projects in regards to capital funding. So they can buy laptops, they can renovate parks. So my job is to just help guide them through the process while they lead the way.
That's really, really exciting. I remember when it first came up, it came to my attention that it might be something that some of my organizations might want to be involved in. I regret not being as involved as I could have possibly been. We did send some kids in that direction, and they're having an incredibly eye-opening experience. The kids are actually being empowered to make this decision, where, you know, and of course you're going to get past, we need new basketballs, you're going to get past, you know, this and that, and some really realistic proposals will be made.
Right, they are. I mean, they're asking for youth housing. They're
Yeah.
worried about the seniors, heated bus stations. I think for me, it's been enlightening to see how far ahead the youth are compared to some of the adults.
Yeah.
Because we're allowed to collect ideas from everyone, but these kids are like, we want skateboarding parks, we wouldn't get hit by cars.
Yeah.
And the things that they're talking about, it's so they're light years ahead of us.
They're being so insightful as citizens of our community, I think, is what you're finding. And the kids, I remember being 15, 16 years old. I would have wanted, you know, I don't know. I can't even remember being, you know. But these kids today are thinking about not only themselves, but they're thinking about making their community better and involving everybody across the spectrum, seniors, anybody. And I think that must be very fulfilling for you to see our younger citizens thinking in that direction.
Absolutely. It's funny because even their playgrounds, they're not thinking about themselves. They're like, well, we need a sector that's actually for children who are disabled. And it's like,
great.
I'm thinking about that like, whoa, I would have never even thought about that.
That's
so
great.
I realized they're the answer. I mean, they're the solution and not the problem. I think it's reverse thought usually.
Wait till they find out that $1 million sounds like a lot of money. It's really not. I mean, but it's a great. Ashley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Can I invite you back, please, to give us more reports on what's going on with this?
Absolutely.
I think it's really important that we hear what our kids are doing. And if you had some kids that you thought would be great to come on and talk about their experience, boy, we'd be honored to have
Definitely.
them
I think
on
you should
our
just
show.
have them on a panel. They
It'd
can
be
lead
awesome.
the way themselves.
I would love it. Ashley, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you
here
for
with us.
inviting me.
And the door's open all the time, Ashley. Come back whenever you
Thank
want.
you.
Okay. Listen, gang, you are watching BNN TV's It's All About Us. We've got lots of show to go. Sit back and relax, gang. We'll be back in just one quick minute. We're taking one quick break, and we're going to get to our next guest. Thanks.
When I look into your eyes, I can see your mother's smile. I can see the moon and stars up in the sky. I can see beyond the blue. And I can see your dreams come true. When I look into your eyes, I can see the sands of time. I can see the hopes and dreams and all your fears, though they're sometimes filled with clouds. Your eyes have always done me proud. No one told you, bought and sold you this way before. I'll console you, help to mold you. Your confidence we will restore. When I look into your eyes, I gotta say that sometimes I can see the whole world looking back at me through you. And as long as this will be, you'll always be the best to me. No one told you, bought and sold you this way before. I'll console you, help to mold you. Your confidence we will restore.
Well, welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for being here at BNN TV. I want to remind you that we are coming to you live from our beautiful studio here at BNN. You know, BNN TV is located right in Eggleston Square, right on Washington Street, 3025 Washington Street. And like I had said before, it is your building to come here and enjoy. Please feel free to come and do that and knock on the door. Come on in and check us out, because they have open houses all the time for people to come in and kind of, if you say, oh, I don't know if I want to do that, but this is kind of like the place to come and do that. Right now, it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce you to our next guest, Russ Schleipman.
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 It's a mouthful of sauerkraut. Yeah.
One letter, Schleipman.
Long
Mr.
eye.
Schleipman and Russ, thank you very much for coming in.
My pleasure.
We met
Thank you.
yesterday at that opening at 29 Newbury Street.
Yeah, it's a lovely work.
Yeah.
Colorful, great stuff.
That's what it's called, color.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but thank you for dropping
Amazingly
in.
intricate work.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Oh, boy.
Really
It's
beautiful.
really, really tough. Not tough. It's beautiful to watch. It's tough to watch and do it because it's so
Oh,
sometimes
it's
very.
demanding stuff. Yeah.
You're a photographer.
I am indeed.
Now, I like to ask my visual artists this question when they come on. If you were developing a website and there was a drop-down menu and you had to determine what kind of an artist you were, aside from fantastic, of course, and they had the genres, the different categories, what do you think you would be pulling yourself down as? What kind of a photographer are you?
I'm a location photographer, travel, editorial, capturing the world is a big part of what I do.
Photojournalism?
Although that has not been the clientele. It's what I love shooting, but there's photojournalistic approaches to corporate work and advertising even. Although in the last couple of years I've gotten in the studio a lot too, so it's more of a balance. But probably my favorite thing would be a shoot of a few weeks ago. I spent a week in Cuba. On the streets. And Cuba is all about, life is on the streets. People are out there. People are in your face, incredibly engaging, and that was really fun just to be in their face with the camera, and they were very welcoming. And to come away with the gems from that of people living their life, whether it's there or the Maasai in East Africa, capturing those gems of other cultures I really enjoy.
So you've got a well-stamped passport.
I do.
You've traveled quite extensively around this world of ours and captured it. How long have you been doing this?
Since I was about this tall.
Really? Okay, so you remember you had a Rolleiflex when you were a kid.
Yeah, I had the little camera you look down into. And when I was a kid, I would play around with it in grade school and high school. And then when I was at high school, my dad gave me a Honeywell Pentax, a really good 35 millimeter camera that used to advance like that. And because he thought I'd like it, and he hit the nail on the head. I joined some buddies who did the yearbook and the newspaper. They were techies. They read all the photo magazines, which never interested me. I'm not a techie. I worry about composition, content, and that's what drives me.
That's great.
But I spent till 3 in the morning in the dark room. Which it's like a piano to music, the dark room. Which,
sure it is.
Which now most of them have dried up. But that's what I did, and absolutely loved it, and always sort of thought about traveling over the horizon for someone like National Geographic or something, sitting in physics class.
How great would that be? So you've gone through that whole analog to digital thing. Did you come kicking and screaming to the modern age?
Well, it happened very quickly. I had a huge job for the Atlantic City Convention and Visitors Bureau. It was about a 15-day shoot. This is a few years ago, probably 12 years ago, something like that. And about a week before the assignment, I was talking with the client, and they said, "This will be digital, right?" And I said, "Yeah, no problem."
I can do that.
So I called up all the 20-year-olds I know and just brought them aboard. And it was a steep learning curve, not for them, but for me. And I shot digitally and just shoveled stuff their way. I had no idea what was happening to it. But they did a great job.
They took it and manipulated it? You
Well,
sent
not
them
manipulated,
raw?
but I basically shot to a card, and then they did all the backup. And so I didn't know how any of that worked. I mean, I used to take film to labs a week before.
Well,
so
I still believe that 90% of photography is your eye in any ways.
Yeah, it's just a tool. I mean, it's a great tool, and you can do a lot of things with it you couldn't do with film. And pixels are free once you buy the camera. And you're not beholden to the turnaround of a lab and all that.
Are you working with Photoshop on a big Mac someplace now?
Yeah. That's my lab. My world is a big screen and Photoshop.
Do you carry a point and shoot around, or is your iPhone good enough?
iPhone's pretty good. And
it is pretty good these days, isn't it?
I don't like using it because I don't want to have a gem on there that I wish were on the Nikon. But the best camera that you own is the one you got in your back pocket. So I've got images with that I wouldn't have snagged otherwise.
What are you shooting with when you go out now?
I'm a Nikon guy.
Nikon guy,
yeah. I have been forever. I jumped to Canon once when they owned autofocus. Then Nikon caught up. It's always a bit of a catch-up game, which is good. They keep each other honest and alert. So,
Because I'm imagining photographers these days, you know, unless there's an assignment, you can be walking down Newbury Street and see something and go, oh my.
oh yeah, well, you never turn it off.
Oh my, yeah.
You never turn it off.
Right.
It's always present. I mean, you might see it walking by a puddle or a pile of garbage. Yesterday I was in Portsmouth and saw these huge piles of chopped up metal. They were chopped up cars. And they were finer and finer grades, from big chunks to piles that were little chunks. I said, this is beautiful. I want to come back here and work this over.
Yeah.
I mean, you never turn it off. It's always...
But my point I'm trying to get to is you can't always come back. That puddle shot's not going to be there later.
Right.
You know, so I guess
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah,
we've got some work from you. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to be looking at out on the outset here. I know we've got a bunch to go through, and I would like to get through as much as we can.
Okay.
But I'm going to start off by, I'm going to do a spoiler here. These are phenomenal shots. They look beautiful.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit as we kind of scan through what we're looking at here.
Everything I shoot, I try to bring something new and different to the equation, something graphic and interesting, and get past cliches, basically. This is shot for a real estate client.
That's great.
But trying to make it different. Again, the same client for a property in New York.
That's beautiful.
It's obviously New York, but it's a little more fun than bricks and mortar. This was shot recently in Venice. Again, trying to get past the cliches. Murk, gloom, I had that beautiful Stieglitz light, fog and murkiness, which just had a whole mood to it. Yeah, it was lovely. Again, same night, out at midnight, and not in St. Mark's Square with 5,000 tourists taking the same picture of a gondola over your camera. So I try to find something different, something that's evocative or graphically surprising.
Do you have your tripod over your shoulder all the time?
I did this night. This was shot about midnight, and it was dense fog, so I definitely did. Yeah. And again, in Venice, trying to get past the cliches.
This is the water, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
That's
a reflection.
Amazing.
It's on the island of Burano, which is colorful buildings of fishermen's huts. But again, I tried not to shoot any gondolas.
Very Picasso. That's great.
Yeah, thank you. And again, just a fleeting moment and something different. And it's all out there. This is Cuba, where, as I said, life is on the streets, and this is hanging out in Cuba, literally. A lot of color and just warm, easy, accepting people. Some musicians had just gotten out of a Sunday afternoon gig. They were all on the street drinking rum, which they shared liberally with me, and included me in their group. And these guys are stars locally. And I walked into the group, and they were totally cool. There was no elitism or no walls up. They just said, come on in. In fact, one of them grabbed the camera and took a picture of me.
Excellent.
Yeah, we don't have that, fortunately.
Look at
Again, in Cuba, dance, music, arts are everywhere. This is a spectacular show called the Tropicana, which is outdoors under the stars and multiple stages. It's a big to-do, but again, the graphic approach to come up with a different painterly image can apply to anything. This is a more industrial shoot. This is harvesting cranberries for Eating Well magazine down in the Cape, but trying to find something that's iconic, looks a little like socialist art, but the beauty of work. And fun and surprises is always good. The fire department posing in front of a torched building here.
I'm not quite sure what to make of that picture.
Yeah. Maybe the fire chief had an injunction and it was his ex-wife's house burning down or something. He couldn't get near it. Now,
it's a plea for more water or something.
Right, yeah.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, it was a test burn in a little village in Vermont.
Oh, okay, so this was definitely controlled. Okay.
It was controlled. It was a training session for the firemen, but I thought, what a beautiful opportunity to have some fun. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's just a 747.
You can get better seats than that.
But yeah, I usually do.
Wow, look at the strength of that plane, will you?
And that's done with a long lens, which does what's called foreshortening.
Yeah.
It's visual compaction, which gives you the power and strength of something.
That's awesome.
And gives different lines to it. Just a shot in the city, but again, graphic and trying to see
Are you from Boston?
Yeah, I live in the South End.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
geez.
This is right across from Aquitaine. Now, we're getting into
This
the
is
studio.
your studio
here.
work now,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, this is work done for Vera Wang, the designer in New York, for her licenses for floral work, and getting into the studio and really focusing on things closely and carefully sort of triggered a whole new tangent for me, which went from flowers to other objects, found objects.
Right, yeah.
Even like beer cans in the street. They're beautiful. They're crushed. They're textural. They're absolutely
And
gorgeous.
do you take them back to the studio to
Yeah.
shoot? Do you have a space where you do that? or-
Yeah, you can do that at home. I don't have a formal studio
Right.
per se.
You can get a light box, right? And
Yeah,
get
you don't
some
need
kind
a
of
lot of space
yeah.
to do that. And then whether it's old tools, old fishing lures, crushed beer cans, and they have a real, I mean, you start seeing beauty in just about anything.
Sure.
I mean, you could shoot a portfolio in this room if you needed to.
If you knew
were
what you were looking at.
If you were confined and just made yourself, it's about seeing, or noticing. Yeah.
Well, I think probably putting your eye to the shutter for so long, that's a trained thing too. It's not. It's,
Yeah.
It's not anybody with a great camera doesn't take great shots. It's not the. It's not
Right.
the
Everybody's
tools.
dentist has a great camera and asks you about them all through your dental appointment. Yeah, it doesn't mean they're good photographers. Yeah.
I get that with musical instruments.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah. But you'll get in the groove too. Like when I was in Cuba, I worked my butt off. I went out 8 hours a day on the street, and I found that I was seeing stuff everywhere because I was in step. Yeah, I was on top of my game, and the more you use the camera, the more that happens too.
Yeah.
And I saw Cuba through my viewfinder, but it's really fun when you're at that point because I mean you look down at your feet and you see something. I mean it's everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you still have the Pentax? Yeah.
No, I don't have that.
Do you have an analog camera?
Yeah, I do. I do
Yeah.
have a few. Basically, they're really pretty paperweights now
Yeah.
because you get $20 for them.
Well, let me tell you, when you leave the gallery out here, there's 2 photographs on the wall. And I was out interviewing her last week, and I was talking about that chain. How long have you been a photographer? Oh, I've been doing it for this long. So I automatically went to the digital. She goes, I have never gone to digital camera. She still uses analog.
Really? Yeah.
And the shots are beautiful.
Sure.
The softness and beauty of,
Yeah,
it all.
film's got a beautiful look.
She stood out in the commons for an hour on a snowy night, waiting for that right moment.
Yeah.
And does digital take that away from us a little bit? That construction of the light and waiting and making the whole Ansel Adams thing of waiting for the right.
No, you're still waiting for the right light. It's all about light
Sure it is.
and composition. And it doesn't matter what your tool is. It hasn't changed one iota for me.
Right.
What it does do is the convenience in the back end. I can send you a JPEG in 30 seconds. I can copy it 10 times. I can send it to a lab. But all that stuff is great. But as far as capturing it, it doesn't really change anything. I might expose a little differently technically, but basically,
You do have to hit it at the right time.
yeah, it's about finding the composition in the moment. Yeah.
Russ, where can people see more of your work?
There's a website, Schleipman.com, but another one points to it, which isn't a mouthful of sauerkraut, RS Fine Art Photography.
You've had to say that more than once tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's a mouthful. So
What is it again, please?
RS, like Russ Schleipman.
Yeah.
RS Fine Art Photography.
Okay.
.com. It's long, but at least
Well,
people
that
can
one
spell
will
it.
that one will link up to your. Right now we have Canvas, but what we'll do is we'll link it up to our website. Russ,
Great,
thank you so much.
Thank
for
you. It was
coming
a
in.
pleasure.
It was
Good
a
to be
pleasure
here.
meeting you.
Thanks
and
a lot.
Great work.
Thank you.
Really
Thank
great
you.
stuff. Come back again.
I will. I'd love to.
When you do another travel deal.
Yeah,
Sounds like
when I
you're
get to
doing quite a-
Mongolia, I'll let you know.
Phone us from Mongolia.
I will. Yeah.
Listen, gang, you're watching It's All About Arts. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. Julia's going to get up here. We're going to talk for a couple more minutes. Don't go away. We'll be back. Please. Thank you.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Different view, dream come true. Bolts of lightning from the blue.
gang. We're back up here on the set with Julia Perciasepe. Hello, Julia. Welcome back.
Hello.
That was pretty good. That was interesting, huh?
Those photos were awesome.
Aren't they beautiful?
That's like living the dream, traveling to all different places and seeing beautiful things. It's like...
And taking great photographs of
Come
it
on.
all. Yeah.
Can't get any better?
And Ashley is very passionate.
Yeah.
That was,
She's doing some great things.
Yeah, the whole thing working with the kids, the PS Boston thing is really, really, I mean, it's not a new concept, but it's new around here. When you say, we're going to drop $1 million on the kids and let them, there's a lot more control than you think. And for the kids to be coming up with these kinds of ideas are fascinating.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. So one other thing, I got my bass out of the shop. My upright bass was broken. The neck broken off. So I guess they threw some Gorilla Glue at it and stuff and clamped it up. We'll find out tonight if it really works or not. I've had that on my mind because it's
I feel like that
upright.
would really affect the whole sound of it, even with glue on it.
Well, it came off. The neck didn't crack off. It came away from where it's supposed to sit. Yeah. So, and that's just from wear and tear.
I was at
it's an ancient instrument.
Yeah, I was at the Park Plaza for a conference this past weekend, and at the same time, I guess there was an instrument making. There's an instrument making store or studio or I don't know what was going on, but there were all these guys in the street with cellos and whatnot, and they were so nonchalant about it.
They were like, working on them, or were they happy?
They were like comparing them.
Oh,
it was
neat.
like usually musicians are very protective of their instruments, and these guys were just like, out in the parking lot. Like.
Extremely. It's funny you mention that because my mother is down from New York visiting with us. And she went out shopping. They went to Savers and all these different places. She comes home, and a couple of days later, she goes, "Oh yeah, they had this whole pile of guitars in the corner." And I said, "You didn't think to call me to tell me that there might be someone throwing that 30-year Martin out that no one knows about?"
Yeah.
We're off next week.
We are.
It's Patriots Day next week, and we do have to take a second to make sure we say to everybody, please get out there and go to the marathon. It's an important thing for us to make sure that we get ourselves back on track. I know we're back on track, but I think it's important to tell everybody that we're back on track. The mayor did an unbelievable photograph Saturday at the finish line out in the South End where they brought everybody back out there. It's going to be an emotional day here in Boston. We're going to be at home watching it just like everybody else. The week after that, we have Sacred Heart Schools coming on to talk about STEM and STEAM, education involving the arts, how the arts are being, was very timely that you brought up what we were talking about, because we're going to start doing more programming on what needs to be done as far as getting more arts into the education. We'll have a great a week off.
Thanks, you too.
Yes, and they're waving at us from the other room, so we've got to give it up. Listen, gang, thanks an awful lot for being here with us. We really do appreciate it. Send us your tweets at It's All About Arts, and check out this show again tomorrow night at YouTube. It's All About Arts 1. Listen, gang, get out there, do something awful for yourself, enjoy yourself. What a beautiful day, huh?
Yeah.
Listen, like I like to say every week, keep in the forefronts of our minds. Our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews on foreign soil. Please do something awful. Do it for them. We will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye now.
Bye.